For most people, the road to Parliament is clearly marked with political stepping stones that lead to elected office. Canute Spencer took a different route to the Senate. As a boy from Port of Spain, Mr. Spencer never saw himself as a born leader destined for the hallowed halls of Parliament. He didn't dream of a political career while he was a student at the Queen's Royal College, and he certainly didn't aspire to become a PNM senator when he left Trinidad to study in England. When Canute Spencer returned from his studies abroad as a chartered quantity surveyor, the Senate is exactly where he landed.
Canute Spencer, you could probably describe him as a Port of Spain person. He was born in Port of Spain, grew up in Port of Spain. I think he spent his entire life in Port of Spain. He came back to Trinidad in 1968 after obtaining his degree in quantity surveying in England. And there I met Canute at the Ministry of Works. We were both at the Ministry of Works at the time, and as most young professionals, Canute was imbued with a sense of purpose that he wanted to serve the country as best he can. I would think it came as a result of his membership with the Junior Chamber of Commerce. We were both members of JCC. Junior Chamber, which at the time was concerned with the development of young people into young businessmen. Unfortunately, the Junior Chamber is no more. But from there, he moved on into the party circles, that is the PNM party circles, and continued, I should say, to develop this desire to do something for his country. It is an obsession with him that he felt it was not enough to be a quantity surveyor. One had to do something more than that. So I was not surprised when he said that he was being selected as a senator.
Dr. Noel, who served in Parliament with Canute Spencer, believes Spencer's roots for public service extend back even farther in his education to his days at QRC.
In those days, growing up in Queen's Royal College, when you were from humble origins, you were mixing with people who were very much better off than you. And I always noted in him a desire to excel. As I said, he was extremely articulate and very argumentative and very much involved in the culture of the country. You could see that he was a person who would fit very easily into a parliamentary setting where there was procedure and order, not as we have today in Parliament, but as we used to have in those days. There was procedure and order, and you can see that his character was building towards that sort of career where he could fit easily into Parliament, sit into committees and give a good contribution, and to keep the procedure and the protocol and all the niceties that we expect in parliamentary life. He was very suited to that, and he seemed to have been training himself in that direction from the time he was in school.
Those who know Canute Spencer say his commitment to his country is also deeply rooted in his involvement with Trinidad and Tobago's culture.
If you could describe him, I would say his first love would be his profession, and his second love is carnival. He is a definite carnival man. He served on the Carnival Development Committee as president, as secretary, as judge, as band organizer, you name it.
Ever since I know myself, I've liked carnival. And being in the Senate did not affect my playing mass. I started playing mass in '53 with a band called Saigon. I played mass with George Bailey for '56. I've been playing mass all along. I played mass even when I was in the Senate. I also love calypso. I still judge calypso. I judge carnival both at home and abroad. So I'm a cultural person. I like steel, but I just steel one outside. So even though I was in the Senate, all these things had to make me the person I was. I was not just a bookworm or a student. I was always involved in some form of art and culture. And I think that helped me along in all my activities, because I think our country is a natural carnival playing country. We don't see about anything. We still play mass all the time, and I keep on that way.
Carnival and Trinidad and Tobago culture provided a platform for expression. It gave Canute Spencer the confidence to answer an unexpected call to serve his country. He had refused to run for elected office, but that didn't stop the PNM from wanting Canute Spencer in their corner. The late Prime Minister, Dr. Eric Williams, hand-picked him for the Senate.
Very interestingly, when I first came back to Trinidad as a young man in the late 60s, I used to do a lot of talking about the place. I thought I had all the answers to world's problems. Not knowing I was speaking to people who have been involved, in choosing and picking people. So in 1971, when there was a no vote campaign, I was approached by one of Dr. Williams' representatives to fight the election on behalf of the party. And I thought, having just opened a business, I should not get myself involved that way. We won the election, and next I got another message saying, the boss would like you to be a senator. Who is the boss? And when I checked the background to the person who came with the question, he was really one of Dr. Williams' advisors. And he asked me to be a senator. But common sense told me I should tell the doctor no twice. Having refused to be an elected member, I had to accept the senatorship. That's why I became a PNM. I would not even remember the party at the time. But remember in 1971, the government was looking for young people after the 1970 riots. And he picked a few of us as young people to bring into the fold of politics, to make some kind of contribution at our level. Among those, Reverend Padmore was one, John Donaldson. We all were part of a young brigade coming in to talk and bring new ideas to the party. That's why I became a senator.
There was an even bigger surprise in store for Mr. Spencer when he was told he would be Vice President of the Senate.
That time I was very friendly with Carl Terence Hudson-Phillip. And the day before the Senate opened, I was told, come and see me in your office now, my office now, bring some sandwiches. Yeah. What's the problem? Talking, he said, no, I can't talk on the phone. Then I was told that the chief wanted me to be the vice president the next day. The vice president, from being a simple professional in Pembroke Street, I became a nominee for the vice presidency of the Senate within another 24 hours. That's another story.
The Senate was nothing like he expected. But Canute Spencer, who had always been interested in parliamentary procedure, more than the power of the Senate itself, found it a fascinating place, filled with fascinating people.
The Senate, and that was the year after the no vote campaign, so there were no opposition senators. We had independent senators, government senators, and certain people are nominated. We had people like Bajo Pandit, one of the senators in the Senate. We had Ivan Lachlan. We had Lloyd Best. We had Dennis Solomon. Then in the independent senators, you had people like Canon Lamont, Tommy Gatcliffe, Harold Robinson, Louise Horn, Jesse Noel, who is my colleague because we were both in QRC together, we were both babies in the Senate. And it was that, and on the government side, you had people like Carl Tull, Boyd Privat, Nicholas Simonette, Ruby Felix. That was the kind of array. It was many older, elder people, and it was not as rambunctious as it is now. Everybody was friendly, we sit and talk and discuss things with each other. The Senate had a very pleasant atmosphere. We understand our role as senators. You came in to make a contribution to government without having to go through election campaign, because none of us want to fight elections. So we had that caliber of person. In Skip Julian, outstanding solicitor, he was in there too.
As Vice President of the Senate, Canute Spencer moved forward fearlessly. And then came yet another surprise, his unexpected appointment to President of the Senate.
At my first debate in the House, and one of our government prominent senators started drifting from the subject, and I had to pull him to task. And the boy told me, you're very brave, Bella boy. I love my view, trying to fight this man. I said, well, he breaks the rules. The rules say he must not be relevant, and I don't care who he is. If he's relevant, he's relevant. I don't have the position. I have the authority to control him. And that was the pattern today in those days. We had no controversial matters, really. We knew what Bazipan would say when he came in. We knew what each senator would come up with. We just accepted it. It was a much more pleasant environment than what you have now. I should also mention to you that when I became Vice President of the Senate, nobody said the President-elect was not in the island. And I just found myself there was nobody answering to the name of Dr. Wahid Ali, who was then the President. So I had to move from the ground to acting President within a matter of one fell swoop. And that was not an easy one to do because here was I not having any parliamentary experience, but being put into the running of the Parliament with a lot of senior men around me in charge. And my philosophy is very simple. I call them all, I said, gentlemen, I'm a baby here. If I make a faux pas, talk to me. I must commit faux pas. And that's how it ran. I was active for about 6 months before Dr. Ali came into Parliament.
Looking back, it wasn't surprising that Canute Spencer would end up in the Senate. He had no political aspiration, but he loved Trinidad culture. And for Canute Spencer, Parliament was the political arm of Trinidad culture.
I felt I could make a contribution to the country. And I didn't want to fight the election because it was not my thing. But I felt the country has enough people of certain caliber to do what has to be done in this country. I'm not even sure that we tackle all that has to be tackled. But I felt, having been trained by the Trinidad and Tobago government and people, I could make a contribution to the country at any level. And that's why I accepted the senatorship eventually. I felt I could get in there and do something worthwhile and make a contribution, which I believe I did.
Yes, Canute Spencer enjoyed being a senator. He really had a love for the job that he was doing, and I think it is part of his makeup in that he tends to give 100% to any endeavor in which he's involved.